I'm sorry, let me tell you right now before you get into this video, there's going to be no images shown, no video footage shown, no audio, no none of that from House of the Dragon. It's just going to be a video of me talking about the entire season as a whole. Yes, episode 10 leaked online. Yes, I done seen it like 5 times. There's millions of people who haven't seen it. So I'm just going to talk about season 1 as a whole and dance around the spoilers. Alonat, Zeldrizas Pusdar Ixos. Daor. Okay, so the finale itself was amazing. There was a couple of scenes that I did have some slight critiques about, but overall, the dance has begun, okay? That scene that happens at the end, oh my gosh, I was genuinely trembling after watching it. So good. So let's talk about episode 1 through 9, all right? Now, when you read Fire and Blood, and now I got into it with some people on Twitter who said they read the book, but every single comment, every single tweet they sent that I looked at says otherwise. When I say I've read Fire and Blood, I have read it more than once. I understand that I have my own headcanon, and that's why I get disappointed with certain things. But as a whole, I know the direction this story's going. I can kind of guess where Condell and why Condell does certain things. And the only reason why is because I've read Fire and Blood more than once. I've read it 7 times. I know that sounds crazy because I literally still have trouble remembering everything from it. But when you do that, you get addicted to A Song of Ice and Fire, so you read the whole of the other books, right? So you get the bigger picture of like, holy crap. Some of the things that Condell confirmed in this finale for House of the Dragon Season 1, you only know about, you can only think about, you can only sort of comprehend if you've read A Song of Ice and Fire. Now, I'm not being a goody two-shoes. My poop smells like shit. It does. Before I started reading the books, I would literally just be like, oh my god, book reader, shut the fuck up. No, but this show, episode 10 in particular, has elevated the source material. Very few adaptations these days can successfully elevate the source material. Like, yes, there was some scenes in the entirety of season 1 that I have some problems with, and if you want to know about those, well, just go watch all of my episode breakdowns, right? It wasn't enough to like deter me from loving this series. I'll tell you that right now. But I had a big problem with the melee scene and how Rhaenys just burst through the floor and killed hundreds of innocent civilians. That's my biggest complaint with the entirety of season 1. But episode 10 and what happens between Daemon and Rhaenyra, we need to understand something about their relationship. What happens in that scene, and if you've seen the episode, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're watching this right now and you haven't seen the scene, you probably shouldn't be on YouTube, because at this point, you're probably waiting until the episode drops, and there are people on YouTube who have uploaded the entirety of the episode in clips, including the captions, so you get to know what they're saying when they're speaking Velaryon. So, that's out of my hands. But in the scene that I'm talking about, between Daemon and Rhaenyra, if you look at it through a singular lens, and you want to not have any nuance to it, it breaks canon. It doesn't specifically happen in Fire and Blood. It doesn't happen in The Rogue Prince. It doesn't happen in The Princess and the Queen. It certainly doesn't happen in The World of Ice and Fire, or in A Game of Thrones, A Clash of Kings, A Storm of Swords, A Feast for Crows, or Dance with Dragons. It's probably not going to be mentioned in Winds of Winter, right? So it doesn't happen in canon. But when you understand the context surrounding the events of like, yeah, Aegon and Rhaenyra were happy, sure, for a time, but then they weren't. As soon as the war starts, they pretty much go their own separate ways. Rhaenyra literally says, let Prince Daemon slake his lust where he likes. I will eat this lamprey pie. Okay? So, why did that happen? As a book reader, you're left up in the air for this mystery of like, Daemon's this good dude. Daemon loves his family. Daemon is a dragon. Dragons very much burn and lash out. And you couldn't even say that no character is perfect and like Daemon's just in between. No, he's usually one way or another way, but because of how he is, you can say he's more of a morally gray character. What he does to Rhaenyra makes the most sense for the context of his character on the TV show. You got to realize they take it a step further and they confirm certain things that were rumors about Daemon in the books. And the reason why George does that is because he wanted... It's interesting because in the Song of Ice and Fire books, we get POV, so we get confirmation. Like, yes, the narrator is 100% unreliable, right? But for the most part, when a character does something, we have confirmation that they did it, we know why they did it, and we know how they did it. For Daemon, we don't know any of that. We don't have any of his POV in The Rogue Prince or Feast for Crows. We pretty much, or in Fire and Blood, we pretty much just only know what we're told about him. The events that were confirmed. Like, he definitely kills Aemon, and Vhagar in the Battle Above the God's Eye, right? That definitely happens. His wife, Rhea Royce, definitely dies. When you connect other things that he may have been responsible with, like the death of Carl Corey later on in the story, Daemon in Fire and Blood wouldn't necessarily... Well, no, he would. It's just left up in the air. The show is just confirming it, right? It 100% makes context for him to do what he did to Rhaenyra. Rhea Royce got her head bashed in by a rock, right? Daemon has proved before he is unpredictable. And now that they've had this scene happen, it even makes more sense in the books. It probably did happen in the books. George just never said it because guess what? We don't get the POV of none of those characters. And obviously, if the servants and maids and all the people that witnessed that seen it, they're not gonna reiterate something like that. Like okay, to be fair, Mushroom probably would have been the one narrator, the one source, aside from Sept and Eustace, right, that would, and Maester Orwell, that would have potentially seen something like this, all right? The thing is if I'm not mistaken, when that scene happens, no one's around. No one's around. They're behind closed doors in Dragonstone, so there would be literally no witness as to why this happens. But you have to understand, something makes Rhaenyra say, fuck it, and allow Daemon to do what he pleases. And honestly, if that happened to her, that makes the most sense. She doesn't want anything to do with him. She knows that it's her job to keep the realm together, keep the 7 kingdoms together. So obviously, she's going to just allow the dragon to be a dragon and just do her thing. I want to thank you all so much for watching. I know this has ended abruptly, but we have like a little over 24 hours, and I'm going to be live here on YouTube talking about this episode in full depth, in detail. I can't wait for that. I've already started working on my breakdown. If you want actual spoilers and me talking about those spoilers, go join my Patreon for just a couple of bucks. That is the platform that I created because I'm constantly being shadow banned and demonetized here on YouTube, and Patreon is my scapegoat. Go consider checking that out. It's linked down below in the description. Only if you like my stuff, and only if you sort of can't wait until tomorrow when I talk about the spoilers from House of the Dragon, Season 1, Episode 10. Big shout out to Claire Kilner and Greg Yantis, and also Giva Patel. Right, Gita Patel is the one who directed Episode 8, and a lot of people think that is the standout episode of the season. But yeah, Claire Kilner, Greg Yantis, I hope they bring them back for Season 2. They did amazing. And this season... Season 1 finale is like one of the best episodes, if not the best episodes of television I've ever seen. Thank you all again for watching. Alonat, Saldrizas, Pusdari, Ixos, Daur.